You ready?
Apparently.
Kick it. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Hardheaded podcast. I am your host, Troy, three-shot Trussell. Across from me, Mr. Matt Amos, and to my right, very far right, Chet Sears. How you doing today, fellas?
Physically and politically.
What? I'm already lost.
Yeah. Welcome back, Matt.
Thanks.
Welcome back to the show, Matt. So, for you new listeners out there, we do three things on this show. We do a segment called What's on Your Mind, where we talk about whatever pops up in your mind. And then we do a top three. Could be anything. Favorite things or...
Top three things that are not good.
Yeah. Both ends of the spectrum.
The top three of the bottom list.
That's right. And then we end it with a good word. So, who is up today?
I've got what's on your mind. Thanks for being prepared, figuring all that out.
I'm prepared. I've got all my top threes ready to go.
All right. Well, I've got two things on my mind. So the first thing on my mind is our listeners. So as we go along on this podcast journey, we are starting to grow, and we kind of are right where we expected we'd be at about this time after launching in January. And the next step, the next phase is coming, and we need your help. What we need from you is any opportunity you get to share, and that's not necessarily through social media, but it could be. You know, if you're like, oh, you're having a conversation with somebody, yeah, I heard that on a podcast. Tell people what podcast you heard it on. Share, talk about us, like us. If you're still with us, we think you like us. So it would be fantastic if you could just spread the word, find a few people to have us listened to that are like-minded with you, and we will continue that growth path. And then we've got some other things in the works right now, which will be pretty exciting, and we really look forward to announcing those when they come out. And
Matt has no clue, by the way, what we're talking about.
Matt doesn't even know.
Zero
idea. But yeah, really excited about it. So what's on my mind? Number one, I really appreciate listening. You listening, it's fantastic that you take time out of your day, that we're in your rotation of podcasts or whatever it is that you do. And we also enjoy the interaction that we have. So our top three for the next few episodes are actually listener provided. So some of the interactions that we've had asking, hey, why don't you give us a few ideas here? So we're going to be going through a few top threes over our next several podcasts, which are going to be fun and provided by you, the listeners. So those interaction opportunities that we have are fantastic. Keep those up. Let's even have some more of those. We're really excited about that as well. So that's one thing that's on my mind.
Well, and some of those, keep those top threes coming, because some of the ones that are coming up are actually a challenge. They're not just easy off the top of your head.
Matt likes a challenge.
Speak for yourself, Matt.
There's some of them are a challenge for me.
Well, when you don't research them, they're a challenge. When you just sit down in here and like, oh, yeah, let me think about that for a second.
You kind of come up with
some of our listeners are making us work.
Yeah.
I like that.
Or read.
And hopefully we won't come up any more ice makers in your cars for vehicle upgrades or anything like that.
That was well thought out and well planned.
I've heard about that after the fact still. It's awesome. So hard-headed, one of the definitions of hard-headed is being practical and realistic. I did the opposite of that recently. It was not a practical decision that I made. I recently bought a car for my daughter.
Yes, it showed up in my driveway yesterday.
Yeah?
Yeah.
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 You ready?
Yep.
It's a Volkswagen Beetle convertible.
Oh, perfect.
Yes.
Those are very practical.
Not practical at all. Like you could maybe get a duffel bag in the trunk. Like
in the trunk's in the front, right?
No, they should have kept the engine in the back, so that when they redesigned it, from the original,
oh yeah,
they put the engine up front. But there's
ridiculous.
no space in the trunk, no space in the back seat, which that was intentional because our daughter's a social person and we didn't want her with a wagon being able to carry around
Yeah.
a whole bunch of people. But yes, it's a very tiny, cute, not practical.
Does it have the little flower in it too?
It probably will. It probably will.
Well, when you buy one from the dealer, they come with the little flower, right?
I didn't buy one from a dealer.
Yeah, you bought it from used.
A person.
Yeah. Yeah, but I've seen the flower because I used to work with a girl that bought one from the dealership, and it came with a little. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Now I do kind of feel your pain because my daughter just passed her driving test to get her learner's permit.
Yeah.
And so now we're in the process of looking, and initially she wanted a small truck. So I was like, I want you to have a pickup or something that can be useful, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking, maybe a Silverado or, something like that. Nope. She really liked the old, like 80s style Chevy S10 with the striping. So it's got the blue and the white and the blue. So she wanted something small like that. And I was like, I don't know if we're going to go with that, but I think we've kind of settled on maybe a Toyota Tacoma of some sort. So
you're going to have to sell a kidney.
Yep. Oh, I've noticed.
Yeah.
I've noticed those things hold their value with 300,000 miles.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. Wow. The Tundras don't, but just about everything else does.
Yeah. Well, my daughter's only 10. She's the oldest.
You don't have to worry about it?
Don't have to worry about it for a few years, but I've already told her. I take her to school every morning, and I'm like, hey, you like this car?
It's going to be yours.
It's going to be yours someday.
So the funniest thing about the whole deal was me taking it on a test drive with the owner. It was a guy I know, real good friend, and we were both like, hope nobody sees us driving around in a little VW convertible. Listen to some tunes.
Oh, that's funny.
It was very funny. But anyway, we did the whole thing. She wants to drive a lot and get some practice in. So we did the whole, hey, I'm taking you driving Saturday morning, So she got up and wasn't ready to go, like, hey, come on, let's get going. And I had Stone in the garage with the camera. So we recorded her reaction when she walked out the door.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
So it was a complete surprise. So have you ever seen, I don't know what, it's like Police Academy 4 or whatever, I think, when they get in that little tiny car and
rip out the back seat.
He has to rip
Police Academy 1.
Is that part 1?
Yeah, when they're teaching Bubba how to drive a... Yeah. He doesn't know how to drive.
He rips out the complete
My sister had that
seat.
model of car.
Like
that's, yeah.
Is that you in the Volkswagen?
No. It's got so much... I'm telling you right now.
It's spacious,
that
huh?
green Accord that your mom used to have?
Yeah, it was my last car.
Twice as much room.
It got passed down all the way to me, and the transmission finally gave out, and it died.
It has twice as much room as a Honda Accord.
Oh, wow.
Like I'm an immense amount in the front seat. Back seat's almost non-existent. But a whole lot of room. But my sister had that model Honda that they ripped that seat out of. I fit in that too.
Hilarious.
I mean, I can only imagine. I got so many inappropriate jokes.
I bet you do. Let's hear one. Let's hear one joke.
I mean, the polite way to put it would be 10 pounds of sausage in a 5-pound bag.
This interior is really big, guys. I'm telling you.
But that car ain't.
I've got more headroom in that thing with a top up than
you do in your truck?
Just about the same as my truck.
Wow.
That is a lot of room, actually.
I know.
What's the gas mileage like?
Like 3,000 miles a gallon. Unless Chet's in there.
It's better than any other vehicle we have. I don't.
Yeah.
I hadn't had it that long.
I'm sure it's pretty good. Not as good as a Tesla, but.
Well.
See what I did there?
I see what you did. It's got a further range though than a Tesla.
Oh, I bet.
And when you get to the end of that range, you just put more gas in it and drive it,
and it keeps
immediately
going. Yeah.
So anyway, that's what's on my mind. I thought about, because Matt has a specific parking place he likes at work, and I thought about just driving it up here and parking it at a spot, and him just be like, "Somebody parked in my spot," and I'm like, "Yeah, I can't believe it. Who did that?" In the Beetle, they're dominating you.
I could run right over that thing, though.
You could.
Yeah. Well, speaking of funny cars, so I was on my way from Kentucky to Alabama, and we're driving down the road, and I mean these people on, I can't remember, is it I-65 or 62 or something like that, and absolutely nobody cares about the speed limit at all. I mean, I'm cruising along. The speed limit I think was 70 miles an hour, and I'm doing 79ish, whatever. I've got people just like everybody, semis, everything passing me like I'm standing still. So I was like, I got to kick this up a notch because this is kind of dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
And then the kicker was this car. I don't know, like it almost looked like a Geo Metro passing me, and the bumper. When I'm looking in my rearview mirror, and I'm like, does that thing have like those those pinwheels? I'm talking, or whatever, that you hold up and they spin.
Yeah, pinwheel.
And I'm looking back, I'm like, does that have like pinwheels on the side of it? And here comes this little thing. Of course, I'm doing almost 80 miles an hour, and and it's this dude's bumper. So he's got two bungee cords in the back, like in the very center, holding it on, and the flaps are just out here, just doing this, and it's his bumper flapping. I was like, when he passes, because he was coming up on a semi, I go, if those things catch the wind from that semi, he's gone. Because that thing's light, and I mean, it was kind of floating as he was driving, but he made it. But I had to speed up to, a little Geo with a busted bumper, I got to keep up.
Hey, at least he had a strap down.
Barely.
Wow.
That was a crazy drive.
Yeah, my wife, well before I married her, Troy's sister, was driving down the interstate in a Honda Civic, and like a rug fell out of the back of some carpet van. And she hit that, and it busted that front apron. And so your dad got under there. This is when she was in college. Troy's dad got under there and duct taped everything. And it was all busted on one side. And then Ashley said something about, I don't like how this look. It's just like you just got duct tape there, and so
that's not duct tape, sir. That's Oklahoma chrome.
Yeah, he went back. Next time she saw the car, he had gone back and made another stripe where it was symmetrical to where the one on the other side was. So it was two stripes that just held everything together. It's like racing stripes, but just for the front apron.
Made the car faster.
Yeah.
That was before they had colored duct tape.
No, I don't.
So now you could probably match your car color with a color of duct tape.
Maybe so.
They have so many different colors.
We've done that.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, it was with Steve. We hit he hit a deer and busted off the whole front end of his vehicle. Now, it didn't touch anything important. It was just the plastic stuff up front. But I mean, that bumper was dragging. And so we went to Dollar General to get some Oklahoma chrome and went in, and they had white, and it matched his. So we taped it up and looked fine. But
that's awesome.
Crazy. $17,000 worth of damage, and it didn't touch anything
Cars
other
these
than
days.
plastic.
That's why you need to buy that old Chevy for your daughter.
Yep.
That was made with metal.
Metal.
Yep. Metal bumpers. Those are good trucks, man. I think you ought to do that.
Well, and I was looking at some of those S10s, and the nice ones they're pricey because now they've got, of course, everybody's modded them out, and they've got, 350 in them, and,
You don't necessarily need to do that.
No, and she definitely doesn't need that.
Yeah.
But
yeah, my first car was metal, old 4-door Delta 88 Oldsmobile, and it was a beast.
Yep.
I remember backing into a light post in a gas station somewhere, backed into it, and I stopped immediately and pulled up a little bit, went back there, and my bumper was kind of just in like 6 inches.
Yeah.
And it was on senior skip day, senior skip day, but I was a freshman skipping school.
Like, hey, I like the skip day part.
Yeah. So I was freaking out because, anyway, I went back there and I just put a foot up on something nearby and pulled, and that popped it right back out. So
You didn't get in trouble that day.
I did get in trouble that day. I got busted.
imagine that.
Yeah. But only because someone in one of my classes was talking about it, and my name was brought up. So the teacher told the authorities, called my folks. But
yeah.
other than that, I might have gotten away with it.
Maybe.
Maybe not. Kids don't skip school. It's bad.
Yes.
You will get busted.
You'll end up like this guy.
You'll end up like me, and you don't want that to happen.
Nope. Watching all the Star Wars.
Yep. Well, speaking of teaching kids things, let's hop into our top 3.
Yeah. So top 3. This top 3 was submitted by Dr. Kelly Crittenden, who's a professor at Louisiana Tech University, a buddy of mine from back in the college days. So teaching kids. What a segue into that.
Well played.
Hey, you like that? Do what I can.
And Kelly's top 3 idea for us, top 3 skills to teach your kids.
All right, Matt, you want to go first and take it away?
Of course.
Since you're so well planned.
I'm prepared today.
All right.
So, number 3, how to cook.
How to cook what?
Anything. But basically, just teach your kids how to cook.
So you know how to cook anything? You can teach other people how to cook anything?
Not anything. I didn't say everything. I said just teach them to cook anything.
In general.
In general. So but mostly focus on the basics.
I think that's an excellent skill to teach your kids.
Like I know when I got, to college and I wanted to know, I was hungry and I knew that growing up my mom used to make salmon patties.
Oh yeah. We call them salmon croquettes.
Is that a Louisiana thing?
They grew up in the city.
I don't know what that is. But
It's a patty.
So
it's a croquette.
All I knew is that
I'm going with it's Louisianan and it's French. That's what I'm going to go with.
Oh, sure. Whatever you want to do.
Whatever
man.
makes you feel good.
That does.
So I was like, well, the canned salmon is cheap, and then all you need is like an egg and some crackers, right? But I didn't know that. So I'm calling my mom to try to figure out how to make this. And I had my little, I had a little burner, one
hot plate,
yeah. And a pan. And I'm telling you what, I stunk up that entire floor making my salmon patties.
Burning salmon.
Oh, it was, because you fry it,
right.
know. It was bad. But, when I got out on my own, I was learning to cook all these things on my own. And I think teach the kids how to cook and make good meals. And even when they have a family, because that cooking can be a lost art, and then you end up, oh, well, I don't know what to cook or I'm hungry. And then you end up going to spend more money to go out to eat instead of preparing it yourself.
Well, and start early too with the basics. I mean, just yesterday I had my 8-year-old, he wanted more tacos. So we went in the kitchen to make him another taco, and he threw his plate up on the stove. And we have like a glass one that, and I had to teach him like, hey, when that red light's on, don't put anything up here because you set the house on fire or melt a plate or whatever,
right?
Because they use those little kids' plastic plates.
Yeah.
So like now he knows not to put anything up
working
there.
around the kitchen a little bit.
Yeah. So
and just just simple things.
So have you started? Like, is there something that you've like worked with them?
So my girls are pretty creative in the kitchen. I mean, they like to get in there and kind of experiment, and they know. They haven't done much grilling with me. They really don't get that side of it yet.
Yeah.
But I think if they were on their own, as it's been proven a few times, that
they'll be all right.
Cook for themselves.
Cool.
Good.
Come up with something.
I like it.
So at least they can go to the store, find some stuff, and make something work.
Yeah.
So that would be number 3. Number 2, along those same lines, how to use basic tools and what those tools are called.
I also think this is an amazing skill to teach your kids.
So, especially for my girls, and one of my things was going to be, and I think we talked about it earlier today, was how to change a tire. And that was actually going to be one of my things, because while I was gone, my wife calls me and was telling me about the hectic day that she had. And for some reason, her van will not keep a tire with air in it for whatever reason. I don't know how many flats we have a year on that stupid thing. And this time she goes, well, it wasn't just it was there 1 minute and then gone. And it was on one of the new tires. So thankfully, we're not paying for that because it was covered under the protection plan. But she's like, here I am on the side of the road. And she goes, I'm completely done with the crappy jack that they provided in the vehicle. And I'm done, trying to loosen the lug nuts. And I was like, so you're telling me to purchase possibly a nice cordless impact wrench and some cool stands? And she was actually kind of behind it. She's like, I am done. She needs to be NASCAR on the side of the road. Zip, zip, zip. Change them out. Zip, zip, zip. Be back on the road. So that's one of the things that, but anyway, that's not one of them. I guess that's a
tool
2A, but that's a tool.
Yeah.
But knowing what common tools are called, wire cutters, vice grips,
screwdriver,
Phillips head,
Phillips head, flat. Yeah, I had that conversation with my 8-year-old the other day.
Yeah. So just basic how to use common tools and how to use them safely. Whether it's a handsaw, don't put your thumb where you're going to be cutting, stuff like that. But little life skills, and then teach them. Start simple with like a birdhouse. Have them build a birdhouse and
go from there.
Yeah. And then number 1 for me is how to shoot and handle a firearm safely.
Okay.
Very good skill.
And it kind of goes back to how to cook the basics, because if you can kill it, you need to know how to cook it. And so, and I just think gun safety overall, knowing how to handle a firearm is a very important skill.
All right, man.
I agree.
Those are good.
So before we hop into your top 3, Chet, why don't we take a break real quick?
Oh, that'd be fantastic.
You want to take a break?
I'd like to take a break.
When would I start using Admiral's Pennant beard oil if I wanted to start growing out a beard?
Like literally right now. That peach fuzz that you have on your face, as it's growing in, that is when you need to start conditioning the beard, because the follicles are typically not hydrated enough, and so that oil helps in that hydration, cuts down on the itching, cuts down on any of the redness and flaking that you might have when you're growing out a beard. And that flaking is basically your skin being dehydrated because it's forcing it into that follicle.
Where can I get some of this?
Well, you can go to admiralspennant.com. admiralspennant.com. Tell them Hardheaded sent you. There's several different scents that have really good descriptions on them. So take a look at what's out there, and they're all natural. No synthetic substitutes.
No synthetics.
So admiralspennant.com.
Get you some beard oil.
Let them know that Hardheaded sent you.
Thank you from that kind word from our sponsor, Admiral's Pennant. All right, Chet, top 3.
I hear their owner, by the way, is like way country.
Oh no, he's got a pretty fancy website.
He can survive, that's for sure. All right, top 3 skills to teach your kids, Chet.
So, proper handling of a knife.
Ooh, good one.
Like it.
Yeah. I started out with my kids pretty young. I got one of those CRT wooden folding knives. It's just a wooden deal that they're not going to get hurt with it. And then, so they had that. I can't remember how old, but if you can show me that you know how to use this thing, then for your next birthday, you'll get a pocket knife. So I've done that with all my kiddos.
Nice.
And they even have pink pocket knives for girls. So.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, now we go to, like if we're out camping or whatever like that, all of them, from about the age of 7 or 8, I'm cool with them whittling and doing all that kind of stuff. Keep an eye on them still, but make sure you're not cutting towards yourself. Keep all your fingers away.
Laid away. Yep.
I think we need somebody in the office to take that.
Don't be in the line of fire when you're chopping things.
Yeah.
We had something happen here.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yep. It turned out to be not that bad, but it looked like a murder scene.
Oh, wow.
So
and I found out that if you do not know how to handle a knife properly and you cut yourself and you bleed, there's a high likelihood that you can probably get Chet to pass out.
Yeah, I'm not good in those situations. I'm good with my blood, not with other people's blood. Yeah.
He was just going to sit in here and just wait it out.
Yep.
See, I'm the opposite. I'm not okay really with my blood, but I'm okay with other people's blood for the most part.
Oh, they were even talking, oh my gosh, there's blood everywhere. It's squirting. I'm like, I'm just going to stay right here. Y'all need anything else?
Well, let me know. Yeah, because you were telling me that story about the time you almost passed out.
On my dad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Recovering from surgery. He just had quadruple bypass, and we're in there while he's coming to, and I'm just looking, he had like dried blood and stuff all over him from there, from the procedure and the oxygen things breathing for you, the respirator or whatever it was. And I'm just standing there looking at all that stuff, and it's my mom is to my left and my sister's to my right, and I'm right behind him kind of looking over. And I'm like, oh, this is, and so
he's going down.
I start swaying back and forth. And then I grab my sister's shirt and I just start tugging on it like that. And she's like, what? And I go straight over. I'm going to land on his chest. Like, oh, no. And so my sister's like, no. And she shoves me into my mom, and they both just kind of walk backwards, and I hit the wall and just slide down the wall. And then a nurse is walking by and looks in the door, and there I am all, ghost white, laid out on the floor. She's like, are you okay? I'm like, I passed out, need some help.
Well, the birth of our first, I was filming it and everything. It was a C-section. It's kind of like really fast. Everything happened really fast. And I'm in there, and the anesthesiologist is up by her head as well, And he looked at me and he said, "Sir, I'm going to need you to get on the floor."
Yeah.
And I went,
we don't need another. Yeah.
I went, what? Why? Why do you want me? Because I don't want to have to, help you or down to the floor.
You're going to need stitches if you don't sit down right now.
So I got down on the ground and laid there for a few minutes.
Yeah.
Because I needed to, but also to appease the anesthesiologist.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm right there, man. So don't cut yourself. Anytime my kids have bled, I hadn't had any issues. Like, if I need to be there to help out, I probably would have been the same way. If nobody else was here, I could have helped in that scenario. I'm assuming.
I'm here to.
Yeah.
Timber.
Yeah. If you still have a good hand, call 911. So that would be number 3. Number 2, knot tying is a life skill.
I was waiting for not tying what?
K-N-O-T.
Tying knots.
Tying knots.
Tying knots. Yeah.
Knot tying.
K-N-O-T.
Yep.
Yes. That one, I don't know. It's something I know how to do well, and use in all kinds of circumstances all the time. And I learned at a young age. And unfortunately, this one's been a little bit more difficult to teach my kids because, they don't want to just sit down and like, and then whenever we need something done, it's like, hey, why don't you come over here? And then I get frustrated. So this one's a little bit more difficult, but definitely one I'm trying to impress on my kids to be able to know how to tie all kinds of different knots. All kinds.
I like that.
Joiners, loops, stoppers, all the different kind of knots.
Yeah, I got to go to YouTube for all those.
No way, man. What's your favorite knot?
I don't know.
You have a favorite knot?
No. God. Square, because it's the easiest. But there is one, and I can't remember, but it's how I tie all my lures.
Your what?
My lures.
Your lures.
But you twist it, in the way that I was taught. You twist it, the rabbit comes out of the hole, then it goes back in the hole.
Yeah.
And I forget which one that one is.
That's the improved tri-lane knot, Berkeley knot.
Sure.
But I like that one.
Yeah.
But I know probably 3 basic knots.
Yeah.
But I'm like you. I have to go to YouTube for, if I'm trying to get a ATV, if my strap's broke or something like that, and I need to cinch it down, I have to go to YouTube and try to research which knot I need to tie.
Sounds like, hey, what are you guys doing this weekend? I could teach you a little class.
I'd actually be down with
I'd be down
with
for that.
Actually.
All right. Oh, look at there.
But here, I got a little lesson for kids out there.
Yeah.
Like, I should know how to tie knots.
Right? Why?
But I didn't listen to my parents when I was a young kid. And you need to listen to your folks. Because my dad was in the Coast Guard.
Yep.
And in the Coast Guard, you learn how
Knots.
to tie like every knot.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'd have just listened, I probably would have learned a skill
Yep.
on how to tie knots.
Maybe that is a skill that to teach your kids is how to listen.
Listening.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll see if that one's on my list
It might be.
here in a minute.
Did you know your dad?
Are you taking that because you didn't prepare?
No, we'll get to mine in a minute.
Your dad on the water, he kind of saved all of our lives once. Did I ever tell you that?
No.
Oh yeah, we were out on Table Rock and had this big tri-tune and doing all kinds of tubing and having fun, and
Oh, yeah.
all the kids all had a friend, and your mom and uncle, and it was just a full boat, like a 24-footer. And so, every now and then we just get tired and pull over and swim, throw the anchor out or whatever. Well, we get back in and start tubing again. The last pull of the day. And, I'm going, and it's just turning a little funny. And didn't know. There turns out one of the pontoons was leaking significantly, which is a different story. But then your dad, like all of a sudden, just turns around and he's like, no, like, got it. Big hand movements, and I'm like, oh, okay, so I back off the throttle immediately, and I'm looking back, trying to figure out what happened with the kids, that were on the tube. And and I turn back around and look at him with a confused face, and he's like, the anchor's still out. I'm like, oh.
That's why we're not going as fast as we should.
Fortunately, Table Rock is, it was just hanging straight down. I mean, it's so deep where we were, and we were in a cove, when we'd go swim. The anchor wouldn't even reach where we were in the middle of the lake. But thanks. Mr. Don, appreciate you.
At least you can
man.
see, because Table Rock is extremely clear.
Yeah.
So you can, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not like you're hung up in Cheney Lake and you can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, or was just pulling an anchor. I mean, it didn't get hung up in the motor. Of course, it wasn't that fast, but yeah, that was a disaster waiting to happen. And anyway, by the time we got done with the whole deal, back to the pontoon leaking, like I had everybody on one side of the boat, like all of us. Hey, everybody get on this side, and that thing is still like over here. So, and halfway through, I called the guy and said, "Hey, the guy we were renting from, like this thing is leaking." He's like, "No, we just had it repaired. There may have just been a little water left in there before." And I'm like, "Okay." And I said, "Because I'm ready to bring this thing." "Oh, no, don't bring it back. Everything's going to be okay." And so by the time the whole day was over, we got back and parked it and everything. And that guy called, like, I don't know, 8:30 that night, and he said, "Hey, I just want to apologize. Like, that was bad. And we have pulled the boat out, and it's sitting up at the house. We're not going to allow anybody. This has got to get drained and fixed. And I'm going to refund half your money.
Yeah.
This is."
There you go.
And
Half your money for half the pontoon.
yeah. So anyway, like 2 or 3 days later, we're driving out, and that pontoon sitting up there at the entrance, like in this little parking area, water still coming out of it. Like it was just that thing had problems. So number one, man, this is taking long to get through my list here. How to build a fire.
Ah, good one.
And this is, I actually drill my kids on this, and my expectation now is when we show up on a campsite, I do nothing with the fire. Like that's theirs to go tender kindling fuel, go get all the stuff, and the expectation, it would be a one match. Like you have to be able to build a one match fire. So nothing that you got to spray lighter fluid all over, but to be able to set one up and have at it.
That's probably a good skill that I didn't learn as a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I learned that. Indian guides.
I just played with fire until I figured it out. Burned a few things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't play with fire, kids.
Yeah.
You'll end up like that guy.
No legs.
Yeah.
He pointed at Matt.
All right. So there you go.
All right.
Handling of a knife, tying knots,
Not tying.
and how to build a fire.
I like it.
What
So
you got?
I'll go. Number 3, how to fish. Very important.
Like it.
Because if you can teach a man to fish, you can keep him from starving.
Yes. Right? Maybe.
I was gonna say, you know how to fish, and I haven't seen you catch too many.
Well, I think
Troy-
we've only been fishing handful of times.
Troy could fish. Troy catches a lot of fish.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it too. All right, and then number 2. So we've heard number 2 and number 1 already. From Mr. Amos. So I'm spitballing here,
Okay.
winging it. But I think because I had how to use tools as my number 2, and we kind of covered that already. So I think I'm going to say how to listen. Because that is a very important skill to have, especially in the day and times we live in, because you need to be able to listen to other people instead of just responding. And you shouldn't think about what you're about to say.
Yeah.
You should really listen to that person, really understand where they're coming from, so that you can have a good response back to them.
Yeah.
Like coffee and a donut.
Like, agreed.
There you
Agreed.
go.
And you can't learn if you're talking. You can only learn if you're listening.
That is correct. And that was a good skill for kids to learn, because I'm pretty sure I didn't learn that as a kid. But kids should learn that skill.
Yeah.
And number 1 was how to cook. And I even have start with the basics.
Really?
Yes. Which you said word for word. So we already covered that, but that was my number 1. I think it's very important. I mean, learning how to cook, you can feed yourself, you can save money. 2 of the main reasons I learned how to cook. So yeah, that's our top 3. Top 3 skills to teach your kids. Listeners, if you want to comment about any that you think are good that we didn't cover, we'd love to hear it. So,
Yeah, we'd like to thank
Kelly.
for offering that suggestion up.
yeah, absolutely.
That was a challenging one for me, really, because there's so many skills that you want to teach your kid, and it's like which direction.
Do you go like life skills or practical skills?
What direction do I take this? Because there's so many things.
I kind of stuck with things that you can do with your hands, because there's all kinds of, not be too emotional, all kinds of life stuff. But from kids, and then a lot of these you can start at a pretty young age. I mean, there's like our kids started out helping with like mac and cheese. Let's like boil water and then stir stuff in, that kind of stuff. And now, of course, they're older, but I mean, Ashley and I go out on a date night and like you're on your own, like fend for yourself in the house, like go fix dinner, whatever you're going to have.
Yeah.
And then you come into a disaster of a kitchen. That's typically what happens.
Oh, yeah. Like I'll be, one kid's got practice or something like that, and Lily's left at home, and or one of the kids is left at home, and be like, hey, what's the dinner plan for tonight? Oh, Lily's making dinner. Okay. That's nice.
Yeah. Well, that would be another good one. How to clean up after yourself.
I struggle with that today still, though. All right. I think, what's next here?
A good word. I almost said what's on your mind, but it's a good word is our next segment. And that is coming from Mr. Amos.
Yeah, so my good word for today is basically just to focus on the good things, no matter how small they are. And it kind of goes along with having a positive mental attitude, mindset. And when you're focused on even just being positive on the small things, the negative things don't have room to get in. And so I've explained it before as your brain is kind of like a muscle, and positivity. You have to work that out, just like you work out your body. You've got to work out being able to be positive all the time, because sometimes it is a challenge. Mm-hmm. And I found that to be very true as I've tried to enter 2021 with a more positive attitude. It is a challenge, and you have to constantly work at it. And I found that focusing even on the small things that are positive throughout your day, the better that your day is. And the more positive you can be, and the more agreeable maybe that you can be with everybody else, I think.
Yeah.
Agreeable is a good word.
So that's actually my good word for today.
So one of the ways you could practice this, and this is my kids roll their eyes now, because I always started out with I read this on the internet, so I have no idea if this is true. But once I read this on the internet, and then they're like, because I always do it when they're in a bad mood, and it works so far. If you force yourself to smile, like literally, I feel like crap right now, or I'm in a bad mood, I'm focused on everything that's negative, and you literally make yourself smile, like show your teeth kind of smile, then immediately your brain is triggered to change its mood, its mindset.
I like that.
And then the first time I did this to one of my kids that was in a rotten mood, I did, next thing you know, they smiled and they're done with their rotten mood. And so I've done that enough to them now. Whenever they're upset, I said, one time I read on the internet. Now they're like, wow, shut up, Dad.
An immediate laughter consumes.
Yeah. But anyway, it's the small stuff. Sometimes the small is just a smile. That's all it would take.
That's good. Just this morning, my daughter has a tendency to lean towards negativity. And so I'm trying to teach her, like, just try to name some of the positive things in your life. Like, this week, what's something positive? I don't know. Like, no, I'm going to make you give me an answer. What is something positive? She was like, get out of school on Thursday for the summer, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, good. Okay, that's positive. You're excited about it. You want that to happen. Like,
right.
Let's think about those things, you know? So we went over a few more things, but just trying to teach her to smile big. I'm going to teach her that now because that's good.
Right.
And just be more positive.
And it was on the internet, so it's true.
Exactly.
100%.
Yeah.
100% true.
Yeah. Send that to the internet.
Yep. All right.
Where's that from?
Oh.
Send it to the internets. Cobra Kai?
Cobra Kai, yeah.
Oh, to the interwebs.
He said internets, I think.
Yeah.
I think he says hash browns or hash
brown.
Yeah, about hashtags. All right. Well, don't forget, listeners, thanks for tuning in. And
like, subscribe, share.
Hash Brown, join the conversation.
Hash Brown, join the conversation.
Hash brown.
Hashtag Hash Brown, whatever that thing is.
All right.
Yeah, check us out on hardheadedpodcast.com. It's our website where you can find where to listen to us, how to watch us. If you want to go to YouTube, Rumble, all that stuff. Please like and share this episode if you thought it was awesome.
And we'll see you next week.
All right.